DPI was founded on the premise of really changing the way the mining industry thought about how to engage with communities, NGOs, Indigenous people, other stakeholders in government, and really to kind of drive a better outcome for everybody, so from a social perspective, environmental and economic. So it's really changing the mindset of how people engage and creating an environment where people can have trusted conversations, meet around what we call shared purpose, what communities want out of resource development, and then really having mining companies think about what's the legacy after mining. So it's really about creating that prosperity and not just thinking about it in terms of purely the mine. So, and then we looked at how the mining industry can act as a catalyst, if you like, a development partner, to really help catalyse building of other industries, tourism, agriculture, and using the revenues and taxes from mining as a catalyst for that. But mining has to become a partner, so that's a new skill for them to learn. So we're engaging with the industry and NGOs and people around the world to make that happen. So the fundings of DPI is interesting. So yeah, we're 2 years into our 3-year funding cycle, and we're pretty pleased that most of the original funders will be refunding, but we're looking for greater funding. One of the things that's changed with DPI is, we were kind of advocating and pushing into regions, so now we're being called into countries to do what we call regional catalysts, which is a process that we apply at the regional level. So we've done these in South Africa, and we've kicked off Peru and Brazil. And we've been invited into Ecuador as well. So we're looking to raise our core funding. The other thing that's just kicked off this year has been these programs that we're doing. So Rocky Mountain Institute Carbon War Room approached us to do a joint program around renewable energy in mines and communities, how you can accelerate the adoption of renewable energy, but ensure we include communities. So that's been pretty exciting. So BHP has actually become our core sponsor for that. So that'll be an individually funded program. So so I think the challenge for us always is finding companies that are aligned to our vision, because I think because I believe the social license issues that we're trying to tackle are a serious threat to the industry, and there's a big effort to be had to make that work. So I think if you fast forward, our vision for the industry in 10 years, if you like, is to actually change that mindset from people thinking about mining as an extractive industry, which is more aligned to dentistry, I say, so it's really painful, to being recognised as a development partner with society and actually delivering goods. So it's a real shift in how the industry is perceived, but that requires the industry to act in a different way as well. I think how mining is considered in the innovation, I think I'll answer the question in a different way actually, because I think the industry has absolutely underinvested in innovation for the last 15 years. So if you look at it statistically, the industry invests about a third to half of 1% of revenue in innovation. The next industry up is manufacturing, 3 to 4%, oil and gas 5 to 7 and onwards. So there's this persistent underinvestment in innovation. So whilst there have been pockets, you look at the big machinery and innovation around that, where it hasn't really, I think, taken hold is in, energy intensity is still high in the industry, the unit cost of production is high, productivity is not very good, there's a lot of water issues. So I think in a lot of areas that need urgent attention, they have really been behind the 8 ball. I think what's pleasing is there's a lot of talk about innovation. We're seeing companies like Anglo and BHP and Teck starting to move, but there's still this underinvestment. Second thing is there's this issue around mindset and culture. So it's all very well to invest, it's not just money, organisations have to change their mindset and culture to make innovation happen. And then the third thing is there's a lack of venture capital to invest in startups. So, if you believe innovation comes from startups a lot, there's very few venture funds focused. I sit on the board of one in Canada that's partially focused on mining. But the big thing is there's a concept called corporate venture capital. Mining industry is the only industry on the planet, literally, where the major companies do not have corporate venture capital. And I find there's a lack of curiosity as why that is the case versus, so they should try, because I think you've got to stimulate the research.